Okay, give me a second on this one. All right, this one's gonna be like, "There's no fucking way, you're stupid dumbass." I am gonna basically respond the same thing to you, and you know that. So let's just get that out of the way. All right. We know about how electromagnetic fields are in terms of pole alignment, spin alignment, stuff like that, right? And they all tend to go the same way. And I was thinking about electric motors because I saw a donut video about an electric car and so on, blah, 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 stuff like that. Right. So I'll tell you that this one's pretty simple, but you're going to have to keep up really, really fast. So very quickly, you're going to need to just listen and write this down, okay? Because I'm tired, it's late, all right? But we're going to take one plate that has copper lines, which isn't a plate, it's actually a PCB, but okay, but you're going to run circles, you know, right. But then you're going to have an offshoot in the Z depth perpendicular to those circles, spreading out larger and larger circles, right? Yeah. Then you'll have an offshoot perpendicular. So think that's take your left hand, you have a palm facing towards your right. Take your right hand, put your fingers from your right hand with your palm facing down towards your left hand's palm. You're going to tilt that inwards towards yourself, the right hand, and then you're going to tilt it up, the right hand. And that's where that other uh, copper cable is going to go. Let's attach that. All right. The other one's three lines, but they're all vertical, and they run backwards through the PCB back towards the initial line input. So it goes vertical, then it goes over, and it goes down, then it goes back in. Okay? This is where effectively a lot of people are stupid and wrong about how electricity works. So you're gonna have to basically just shut the fuck up and listen. Volts, amps are very similar things in aspect, but they're not. Right? Volts are like the frequency of light. Amps are like the luminosity of light. Current is like the effectively bandwidth of light they have, meaning how many, you know, photons hit something and how it does it. You should now understand how electricity works. And if you don't, you're probably stupid. So shut up. Now, the vertical plate, because I probably got rid of most of you by doing that, and thank God did I. So the vertical is great because it's like we're gonna basically make the same constant volt and amp. So if you know that, that's nice. Now this is gonna get into nitty gritty, and you're not gonna like it. So the volts and amps are always gonna go through. It's always constantly there. We're gonna alter volts and amps to be higher and lower, and we're gonna pulse that from 330,000 changes to 1.2 million to 1.3 million changes in a second. Then we're not done yet. So you're going to have to be quiet. We're going to turn it off. Right? This, I know. Like, I thought it was constant. Yeah, I know. That's because it is. Because of how electricity is pulsed through. And again, this one's a very specific frequency type of match. As we turn it off, it allows for effectively a momenta collapse of the electromagnetic field that then carries on forward to the next stage of pulse. When you do that, it creates a very specific type of electromagnetic wave, but we're not done. Yeah, I know, this one's going to suck. So, it can be solid or it can not be solid. Personally, I don't use solid, but to each their own for copper cables. I have a no, not electro. I have electricity that flows through the center and through the outside. I have electricity that flows to the outside going an opposite way or the same way, depending on what you're trying to do here. That's right. We're going to use the core separate to the outside. And it's like, why the fuck? Okay, shut up. You're going to have to listen. I told you you're already stupid. So be quiet. Right. Now, if you're going opposite, it's a very specific type of frequency match that any electrical engineer will tell you it's pretty easy to find. So, smart people, you should listen to them instead of your dumbass that thinks you already know what I'm going to say. Right? The opposite is going to have to collapse in between voltage changes and pulses where there is no electricity flowing through. This creates a massively large electromagnetic field spike, as it's literally dumping all electrons and its alignment into a very specific type of field, but it's really shitty. This is where the other two wires come in. This one is another version of both of them are going to flow with the core. Okay, the core is this of those two vertical wires, cables, right? That you're going to send electricity, but you're going to change, again, very, very, very high frequencies for volt and amps, current, all that. And you're only going to reduce. The outside is now going to be a impedance. And we're trying to draw it away, the electricity. We're trying to yank it out effectively from where it is in the core. Okay. But that's its own pulse match frequency. And then whatever might come out is now going to go into the intake of the bottom or top line for the central wire / cable. So you're going to have to do that. Now, again, this is another type of, well, we're actually going to align a collapsing and expansionary electromagnetic field that creates a clockwise vortex electromagnetic field that then has a counterclockwise electromagnetic field around it. Because there's already a field in the central one, they combine and then they curve over towards the plate that has electricity that's aligning a standard electromagnetic field. That's right. Those are just the circles on the right, and then the little off angle z-axis cables. As they grab onto it, they collapse kinetically. So they move them kinetically, like an electrostatic, with a attractive and electromagnetically repulsive force. So they yank forward and then they repulse as the field vortexes collapse and expand. But here's the kicker. If it's moving on a vehicle, you have a magnetosphere and a charge field or atmosphere, right? But also, you're moving kinetically through space. You pick up electromagnetic fields that stick around like a big charge battery, like a supercapacitor kind of thing. And so it makes it seem like it's over 100% efficient. It's not, obviously. I just told you where the extra energy is coming from. Shockingly, it's not from nowhere. So suck that one up, you nerds. There's no free energy here. Get over yourselves. Moving on, this is where it turned into the neutron supercritical superfluid motor. I made this because gluons are uniquely suited, along with random quark variances of neutrons and neutrinos, to being captured by the charge collapse spin fields of the electromagnetic and charge fields that I'm making. This then wraps them and it starts moving it. I create a plasma that's also super critical because it's under pressure now. I have neutron pressure and it has mass. That's what I made it. It was to deflect and capture neutron excitation during fusion and fission. So I didn't have to worry about radioactivity or degeneracy or degradation of types of fusion that I was creating, or fission prototypes I was creating with my concepts in my mind. Which is fine, because it works with very little energy too. It's how the fields collapse that makes that occur. Now, that's wonderful as an electric motor because it basically makes a very heavy flywheel that will then just exit and nobody gets hurt. But I then turned it into a rocket engine. With a little bit of light added in, I then have the ability to make neutrons accelerate and be captured utilizing collapsing electromagnetic fields. Because there's a bunch of neutrons everywhere, I never needed anything but electricity. It almost seems like I don't need any fuel whatsoever. But the answer was, of course, I'm always getting a lot of fuel all the time. And light's pretty much always around. I was then able to create different pressure variances and yanks and pulls, which is a good way of putting I'm more compressed and I'm more excited and I'm more yanked out with a little bit of extra light to really try and give her the excitation, expansionary, yankety yank, break apart, damn it, you fucking neutrons types of things. And then I got lots and lots of fissile neutrons that go quirky quark bye-bye over there. The densest, fastest moving substance I can make. Quark gluon matter. That's extraordinarily fast. But when I don't need quark gluon matter, I then just need neutrons that I then just effectively yeet wherever I want to go wherever I want, the opposite direction. I then was like, behold, neutron communication. Because I can capture them. Here's a pulse. Here's a and tunnel. Here's a break apart and recombine. I used neutron supercritical superfluid plasma as a rocket engine and communication device. And for the low, low price of a few kilowatts, you too can honestly do it. Which, honestly, it doesn't take kilowatts to get those kinds of results. But if you want to go really, really fast and really, really far, you're going to use kilowatts. That's right. I said kilowatts. Idio so fuckface McGee's. With a K. Low energy as fuck. Super hyper efficient. your idiotic levels of energy use sucks. I need it to be way more efficient. If I'm going to get somewhere with very low amounts of energy, and we're talking interstellar, and if I don't have the possibility of making a bunch of fusion or some shit, neutrons are my best bet. And in whatever small amount that I can try and power using my own damn ass, and I can do that, this will start to sustain itself. And that means I can still scoot along to somewhere where I need to go. It was an emergency engine, but actually turned into a pretty decent damn engine until I got to my faster than light engine that uses inertial acceleration and quantum vacuum pressures. But the reason why I was talking about it before I started this recording was because it was like, well, what do you think about electric cars? And I'm like, well, I like electric cars. I just have a really hard time thinking about electricity the same way other people do. To me, it's like, well, it's just momenta, creating a type of virtual and quasi and ghostly particle that's in a given type of pump state, thanks to a momenta, resistive and then movement for energy excitation profile in quantum physics, for field theory stuff. It aligns it and then it collapses its spin, then it likes to tunnel, but then it's like a pump, and then it creates a particular type of vibrational, kind of like a river, pump that's elicited from where its start is. So it's like, think I spray my sprinkler and then it came and arced back down to the space times that are around us, man. Which is literally how I imagine it. But it's like, no, ampy current go bury whir with stupid volts. And I'm like, but I don't know that. That's not how I imagine it. I don't know how to. There's a reason why I use impedance and resistance to make what is essentially a near superconductor by using field collapse states and tunnel effects and excitation pumps that go back towards the center to make a virtual like outer core to an inner actual electron movement back towards where you started, and then that goes back out towards the outside, and it's a resonance frequency that matches and collapses correctly. But I've already stated it on my YouTube channel a few times. But I don't need superconductors because it's like, well, why would I want them? I can turn anything into a very, very high amp, high current kind of thing if I do it the right way. Why would I care? All you have to do is just vibrate it the right way, collapse it the right way during a given type of vibration, and then you cause it to skip, and it becomes far more ordered, and it can only really allow for electrons to then travel exactly as you want them to. It makes total sense to me. But it's like, why control that way? Why does battery do this? This seems stupid. Like, you could do it this way, like the batteries I sent, or Dr. Ben Miles, like I added him for the battery tech. And it's like, just do these better. This seems stupid the way you do it. But it's like, it's not your fault. I just don't know why you do it the way you do. That's literally what that is. I actually don't understand. Like, I never learned electrical engineering. I never did that. I don't know what the words mean. I don't know anything about it. And so as a result, I'm like, I'm scared and I don't know how to make the thingy go burr like you. This is how I do things, and it just made sense for me. Like an engine go clackety clack incorrectly, but make more power. Because it's not in a rhythmic sequence of events, but instead it's in a programmed sense of events. So think spin, go spin, faster spin thing, but then delay timey thing, and then bumpity bump bump, valvity valve, sucky sucky, blow blow, squeeze bang bang. But actually more like a bunch of weird shit. But you know what happens? Better. And instead of like and dunk 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 dunk, right? And a rhythmic and sequential and kind of like a Fibonacci or some shit. Like it doesn't work that way. It works stuff like that, and it goes really fast. So I was like, well, electrons could do the same thing, man. Like, why wouldn't I do that? I'm going to use this quantumly. Wait, what? No! Behold, my neutron, supercritical superfluid. Motor. I will say fuck you to physics. Oh, wait, actually, that's exactly what physics does. Suck it. Suck it up, you stupid, stupid, stupid physicists that they knew better than I do. You are idiots of the highest caliber. I am better than you, look at me. It is now the Limke physics, effectively. It's a principle, honestly. Like the counter corkscrew stuff that exists and then collapses that way, that's a Limke principle. That's like my laser light principle. It's basically it's very much a version of a Limke light principle. And it's named after myself, my last name. Not another theoretical physicist that has Limke as their last name. Me. I'm not in any of your little, you know, English papers that you have to spend large amounts of money, and then the only way you can get the connection is if you pass all these tests and have the certifications, and you gate kept your way in there with others and excluded them without properly peer reviewing how this would work. If somebody actually did know something and it was actually good, you would allow for them to then be seen. But oh wait, no, I expect them with them trying to get on Social Security income to somehow magic up a fucking goddamn experimental result that literally doesn't make any goddamn sense in any aspect for him to do. To be considered something that I should maybe think is to be considered with great proper legitimacy and validity. But it's like, yeah, whatever. They're all a bunch of cock-sucking douche fucks after a while. That all think that they think things well. After a bit, I just got bored of thinking about that. I mean it. I got really bored so fast. I got so sick and tired of your shit. Yeah, like you specifically. The people that think like that, like open-minded motherfuckers, like, oh yeah, no, I hear that there's something. Maybe I can, versus douche fucking McGee over there, the gabagoos of the world. And this is the only way, and oh my god, please just do my way, and that's all, that's the only way I will accept anything being considered. Meanwhile, I'm like, why do you do superconductors? What is this? Oh, well, that's stupid. Why don't you just do it this way? Seriously, all you're doing is forcing a given type of electron to enter an orbit that then wants to move somewhere else. So if you know what you're doing on that, and it goes the way through, right? Then effectively you've made yourself a superconductor, right? Now, granted, I don't do what they do for impedance because it's like it still has impedance. And I'm like, yeah, no, but I basically did volt stuff. So it's like, all right, I have 1 volt. I get 9.9, that is, right? 0.9 repeated for 10 to 172 with a factorial of that number 53 times nines, and then, but like that's theoretical, you know, for math and physics and what you currently know for your current quantum physics and engineering and mechanics. Standard model stuff. Versus, like, what I was able to kind of jerry rig up with, like, off the shelf and, stuff that I could try and program or whatever in terms of, hypothetical, if I had the money and all that shit. Only 10 to the 32. So 10 to the 32 nines is what I was able to get from the 1 volt coming in. Which it's like, well, whatever your impedance is, I have the same, so the resistance is still there. Except I got that many number of electrons back. I was like, this is the calculated amount of electrons I'm going to send in. What is a 1 volt amount of electrons? And it's like, you guys are the worst. Who fucking wrote this? Who wrote this dry ass material in a textbook? I hate you a little. Okay, like, look, for real though, like, actually, who wrote that? Yeah. So I went off on a, like, quantum physics thing for a while because it's like, I'm tired of listening to this garbage. I will never do this. I will never become an electrical engineer. This is not me. Everything about this is bullshit. Whatever idea of volt and amp and current is garbage, and they should feel bad. Whoever came up with this is very difficult to work with, and I don't like them. They suck a little bit. And then I was like, well, I got pretty far with quantum. I mean, all right, whatever. What is this? I'm gonna actually try again. What is it they mean by this? What is? Oh, is this what this is? This is like acoustic interference and light interference basically mixed into one, with like fluid field conductivity stuff, which is just pressure, thermodynamic stuff. It's literally just thermodynamic pressure fluid stuff. I'm not even kidding. I mean, actually, now that I look at that, that's what I've been doing for my astrophysics. Eureka! I got it. I'm not even kidding. It was like, ah, well, that makes sense. It's effectively like a gravity strong force that moves around with like a weak and like electromagnetic movement of fluidic, fieldy pressures. Yes, I suppose is what I imagine they would say, right? Because like that's pretty obvious. Because that's literally what it is. But they were like, no, tell me more about how volt can have like a fucking what amp? What did you just say? That's not. No. So, anyways, amps are like luminosity, the number of photons. Current is like how it's delivered, sort of, but also like the thickness of the bandwidth of the thing that you're doing. So it's like density kind of stuff. And then volts is an entirely different thing for frequency and then like pressure densities inside of that given current. But they were like, behold, I am Special Wells. Look at me with my acoustic resonant frequency stuff that's literally the exact same thing that we've had since Stirling. And I will now make myself insanely impressively smart in all the best ways possible by making it so I'm super unique and it's different than you. I am electricity. You're the same math. What are you doing over there? You don't understand. Shut up and no. No, I'm not going to shut up. Make me. Fucking try me. Really? Fuck off. And then it proceeded to be fucking successful. Great. So I got really bored after a while looking at it because it was like, what is it that this? And then they use these basic. Well, I like the math though. The math is nice. Fucking hell. The math over here in Quantum Land might as well be called "fuck you." I want to be extra specialer than you. And that's kind of what it felt like after a while dealing with him. It was like, you're just thermodynamics and stop putting on fucking pretenses. You have no noise and there's no hidden variables. You're just not wanting to fucking try and calculate for that much after a while. You suck. We're not. Shut up, you. I resent you, Xenon. I don't give a fuck. Here's Xenon to the face over there. Go fucking hallucinate. Don't feel your face for a while either. Fucking dick. Anyways, I'm gonna move on from because it literally did turn into that, but then it was also like, right. But actually, there are many different types of necessary, not constants, not variables, controls, right? Controls that I had to take into account for that. And it's like materials and the blah, with the collapses and then the orbit, like types of connections for. I was talking about it earlier today. And it was like there's a weird double ionic bond that's like a covalent, but it's not a covalent. And then it like has the orbits because they're so close together for the electrons, they actually bounce off each other and then go into the other atom's orbit, right? They they bounce off and then they go in like this weird figure eight pattern. It goes bang and then over here and then bong and over there and then basically that's why it works out that way. But it's like a very specific type of phasing kind of profile for the orbit that tends to keep, but that's only as a result of a resonant frequency that the nucleus happens to maintain thanks to a given gluonic match to neutrons to the protons. But it's like, why was that a thing? Because I did this hang glider tech video, and it was like, behold, man, this sulfur, or whatever the fuck it was for the refrigerant, effectively turns into a phase change during a high or low pressure plasma to an ionic, like gas that was actually like a it has it's a monopropellant type of like nitromethane, but it's nitroacetylene something I forget. But anyways, point is, it then combines with oxygen in the plasma core. It then gets accelerated and then like goes and squeezes through it like a nozzle, goes into the combustion chamber, and then it then of course does its little combustion exchange stuff, and then it goes off to a bell end through. Anyways, doesn't matter. Point is, what comes out was something that would combine with uh well, it would separate the carbon and then it would combine with other molecules. So like, to put it mildly, the compound turned into something that would yank off carbon dioxides in the atmosphere and also regular carbon, and then the nitrogen would be released in twos, and then one carbon and one nitrogen would be stuck to this sulfur or whatever it was, and then that would precipitate out and combine with either dust in the air because it would turn into a mineral pretty readily, but it would also unoxidize one of those minerals. So it would exchange in oxygen for like combining that way. But it would also release over time enough the nitrogen as well, right? But it's because there's charge variances in our atmosphere and there's UV radiation that it's doing that. And so, but also when it goes around organic molecules or environment, it will do the same thing, and it helps to transport nitrogen and sulfur into plants and animals. So it's like a really really good clean burning fuel because it mostly produces carbon dioxides that will readily do that with this other
exhaust gas. And it pretty much only just produces H2O off of that. So it cloud seeds because it produces a bunch of graphite, and then like this will attach to anything else, and then it rains pretty easily. So really clean environmental thing, right? But like the only reason why it's pretty good, which I would love to be able to put that into an engine, just FYI. But it's like now we're producing a lot of refrigerant. It's like the refrigerant's not the problem. That's not. It's acetylene that's the problem for me. It's the acetylene, which was fine when you're like up there and you don't ever crash, right? But acetylene, and then I'm using a nitrogen filter, which then when I go through, which this one was an iron and aluminum with a carbon substrate material that acts like a catalytic converter that helps the uh, soda bubbled pressurized acetylene inside of the refrigerant, then with electricity and electromagnetic, fields pulse the right way, would create during the separation of the nitrogen and everything a combination into this fuel, which is now ionic, which is now under pressure too and has heat, but it also rips off electrons to do this for the oxygen. And so then it's a lot easier to run a Z-pinch type current to force it to turn into a plasma for high amps. But it's like the amps are going to go into the ionic, right? So like totally works just fine. And then it combines into the nozzle and then it, that kind of thing. But it's like, behold my engine that, what was that? What did you say? Well, let me just get on my rocket advanced physics degree, I guess. But it's like, not really, because I don't have any of that. I just know a little bit about it. That's literally what that is. I know a little bit about it, and that's all I needed to know all of this. I don't know why it's so difficult to learn this. But then that's me. Like other people are not like that. And I get that now a lot more, but then it's like, shut the fuck up, you gilded little gatekeeping douchefucks. Be open minded for once. Some people can learn differently than you and still be right. My peer review for myself is more stringent than your fucking asses with how it is. You put these garbage studies out as if this isn't just correlatory, shitty, cherry pick data. Right. But the reason why I want to talk about this is because the reason I use it as a supercritical is because it'll absorb other fields and convert them. Because neutrons, while they don't really do that much, but because there's a high mass and light can be pumped through, and a little bit of other whatever gas that you absorb along the way, it likes to break it down, become much heavier fissile, and turn into quarks. And it turns into a supercritical that way. And then it's pretty easy to turn into a ionic, but then ionic with insanely high density and mass that will never go back towards where the anode is or the cathode or whatever it is, right? Right. But it's like, how do uh regular electro stuff? I don't understand it. But apparently amps are like really, really big amounts of like electrons or something, and then like current types are like how to deliver it or whatever. I don't know. Point is, it's like I don't understand why this is how, but then I don't. Then what's how many? So, anyways, I redid the thing. Is like instead of 1 volt in and how many I get out, right? I was like, all right, so this is the theoretical amount for this given amp type through this material, through this phasing capacitor array. So that way it delivers in one pulse this exacting in this given time frame, this 10 to the 52 to the 25 electrons. And that's how I measured that. And then it was like, how many electrons did I get back? Well, given this resistance, this blah, 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 bunch of bullshitty, malarkey bullshit with material, conversion rate, probabilistic factors for quantum mechanics and standard model theories. It worked out too, kind of stuff of 10 to the 52 to the 32, which is not bad. Most of it's come back. There's an orders of magnitude there. Yeah, well, I mean, that's probabilistic factors for what it's worth. Because it's like, well, I had to do this orders of magnitude times. So I was like, well, I'm going to let that run for, what is their orders of magnitude again? A few fucking nonillion. Okay. Well, how do I get a few nonillion? How many pulses can I observe? How do I, store that? I need just, the basic bare minimum of data on that for data point analysis over time. Which I later found out it is not nonillion. Shockingly. Turns out that is not what that number is. But I was like, here's a fucking 500 nonillion. Screw it. And well, that's only a few terabytes worth of data. I can fucking calculate that pretty fast. It's just a pulse, right? And it's consistently, this is the amount, measured, right? This is the volt amp or whatever, but that means the quantum standard model probability says it should be 10 to the 57 to the 37. Did you get that mixed? Yeah, no, I fucking did. It should be 10 to the 52 to the 37, which I said 10 to the 57 to the 32. So, but that is actually what I got. That one stood out to me. And that's the reason why it's like, wait, there's more here. And I'm like, yes. So here's the problem that I ended up having with people that are quantum physicists. And this is why I talk about why this neutron thing works. You are spinning on a fucking goddamn planet with a bunch of excess charge in a fucking atmosphere that's magnetic, which I didn't isolate anything. Which means it's like, behold my worthless terabytes of data for 500 nonillion amounts of data. Fucking nope, I never tested the theory of maybe I'm wrong with a nonillion. They wouldn't do a nonillion for their orders of magnitude times. The LHC would absolutely do nonillion. Why wouldn't they? Turns out later on, no, they don't. Shocker. Ugh. So it's like, all right, I need to get a really good Faraday cage material. And I was like, well, how much does this cost? That's bullshit. There's no. Aerogel, aluminum aerogel can go fuck itself. Fuck you. Too expensive fucking shit. No. So I was like, well, there's got to be a way to fucking cryogenically and there's acoustic resonance bullshit cooling. So then I turned to polycarbonate, polyacrylic, and fucking polyethylene blend compressed with bunches of aluminum and copper interspaced with a bunch of types of nano graphite particles that are also interspersed with a bunch of old fucking high purity silicon chips from back in the day that I just blended and then like, you know, argon heated and then unoxidized with some chemicals, blah blah blah, stuff like that. That was like, I need the most of the silicon, so all of the silicons, and then it was like plated, and then in and then like vacuum, and then some heat and some and some electricity to align them very specifically, and some electromagnetic field pulses. So it was like electromagnetic field pulse this way, and then the other way, and then electricity this way, and as I pressurize it on the outside, and then I suck out all the things on the inside, and then I heat it, and I vibrate, and I made all like these little doesn't matter. Point is, at the end of it all, what it means is it's an insanely cheap as fuck, incredibly high density Faraday cage material that removes basically all electromagnetic frequencies for practically nothing and doesn't cost me thousands of dollars. Fuck you. It cost me, I think, $100 to make that. And then I just fucking yeeted it back on a few times. Like, I'm gonna do like a 5 pulse and a 5 pulse, and then I like calibrate blah 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 with the cooling and the argon that I had in it or some shit. Because that's cheap as fuck to find. Like, and then it was like, wow, it's rather cool and pressurized. And it's like, yeah, well, yeah, it is. Well, the box is. The inside is in a vacuum, and then I'm gonna make it so that way it's the pressure and regular temperature and a regular air environment, but then it'll be chilled and cooled or whatever for the box, right? And so like that's what I started my tests with. It's like it's this in air environment with no electromagnetic anything from our atmosphere or whatever. And then it was like, all right, so 500 million damn tests later, I got 5 to the 50 or 10 to the 52 to the 37 in. I got 5 to the 52 to the 36.929987999 times out with atmosphere. That's right, atmosphere. Which is like there's a point there, obviously, right? There's a decimal, right? But it's like okay, with atmosphere, okay, whatever. It's like, all right, so now vacuum it up, right? And it's super cold. I'm looking at it with all the little, what's it fucking giving me in terms of like the zappity doodah, infrared radiation. I'm trying to cool myself to absolute zero because entropy, fuck you stuff. And I'm gonna capture it with my super cool electromagnetic thing that's effectively a box. And then I'll determine what it is. And it's like, well, it's now this amount of cool, which was like negative fucking 182.7 C. Which is still pretty cold, but still. I had to fucking figure out how to make like multiple stages of acoustic resonance Joule-Thomson cycles. So that was a whole thing. But it wasn't impossible to do it, so like, whatever. So I moved on. I got the vacuum out for like, all right, so we're gonna suck the fucking shit out of this out. How do I do this? Well, I already have an electromagnetic box, and I can already ionically make this, and I can run the current, and then blah, 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 and it's like, yeah, and so now everything's stuck to the inside of the box, and then I just suck it the fuck out. Or it's to the cable, and then, like, the cable then becomes, like, a repulsive force to that, and it goes, bing, to the box, and then I got rid of that. By vibrations and, sucky, ionic, attractive, repulsive forces, stuff like that. Now, I then did 500 million more tests in my super cool chilled vacuum of the 10 to the 52 to the 37 electrons coming in. Which, again, that's a very controlled as well environment that goes into this cable that then goes into this also very controlled. So the whole thing is controlled, super duper controlled. It was like, all right, I get 10 to the 52 to the 36, 99999999999, and then it just fucking stopped. Back. Like 99999999999999999, and I was like, fuck this. Okay, fine, I get a computer. It's a lot of nines. Fine. Which, by the way, I eventually did scroll down through, like, what is some ridiculous number of pages. And then it was like 8222888999822222. It was like, why is it constantly repeating with 2s and 8s? There was a 0 somewhere. I finally found a 0. This fucking number is huge. I didn't know what 10 to the 52 to the 37 meant until I had to scroll billions of pages of 9s to find something. At like size 1 font, completely filled. I was like, this is a lot larger of a number than I thought. This is really stupid. This is insane. What the fuck? But I was like, all right, 500 million fucking tests, you know, that should be enough orders of magnitude. I go look it up finally on Google. Like, I finally looked it up, and it was like, that's fuck no. Oh. Holy shit! It's like 10 billion or something. It was like ridiculously small. They don't even get to the trillions. They don't even do trillions for their orders of magnitude. I did not millions. These are insanely high test fucking orders of magnitude that would be like so unbelievably, undeniably impossible to do anything other than just believe it. Just shut the fuck up. Like, literally, it's a thing. Fuck you levels. Probability so fucking consistent. There's no fucking way it's not a law thing at this point. You know what I mean? Like, literally, it's a law. Like, you can't deny that after a while. It's like 500 non-million motherfucking thing. And I was like, but no, wait. There's more. Because you thought that I stopped at 500 million. But I understood it to be, those are the orders of magnitude. So it's 500 non-million. And then I had to do 500 non-million to an order of magnitude. And then the next order of magnitude, because I needed 5 orders of magnitude of that. So I started with 1, so I did it 10 times. And then I did 10 times of that 10 times. And then I did 10 times of that 10 times. And then I did 10 times of that 10 times. And I did 10 times of that 10 times. That is correct. 5 orders of magnitude of 500 non-million. The way I did this was because I was having to fucking make a whole bunch of controlled environments and all this other bullshit. I was like, I'm now making fucking so many of these. I had started a manufacturing little, like, 3D printer, blah, 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 and all this other fucking, I have to make this, and screw this. I'm now going to make a massive amount. I basically existed in a room where I could go and move to this point, and this is exactly the amount of room I have to do anything. Everything else is a bunch of these tests, all fed into several different computer things and shit to like then feed into the main big boy. It was to the ceiling, to the floor, all the walls. There's lines running everywhere. I get to get up and then walk over and do this. And then I get a lot of room to do it. It was like, yeah, this is exactly my mold that I get to walk through every fucking day. Which equaled, shockingly, 1 billion of these things going at once for a total pulse rate of 9 trillion times, because I had a 1 trillion, so 10 trillion total, but I had a 9 trillion that I actually, and a 1 trillion start every time that would be in between to make sure that that's like a what do you call that? Like a information, like this is what it's doing pulse. Like this is like the standard control, right? So it had a 1 trillion standard control and then 9 trillion results of experiment kind of thing. I forget what it was like. Freaking like 1 billion. Yeah, I did 1 billion of those because you can make really small ones. Like it was really pretty easy to make a really really small thing like that. And so I did a billion of those that did a 10 trillion pulse rate technically, but it's really 9 trillion. That would then categorize, specify, detail, filter, and then resolve all of these results into a big graph for easier calculations. So that way it's like, well, I could eat the vast majority of those binaries out. I only needed this, so that way it would understand what that was. So that way I was able to save a bunch. This is my God operating system kind of stuff of data storage. And so it turned into, I have 5 orders of magnitude of 500 nonillion times. And it took me a fucking stupid amount of time. About a year. I'm not kidding. It took me about a year to do that. If only because I had other shit to fucking do. Like, if I was able to run it fucking solid 24/7, it would have been like fucking 6 months maybe after fucking 3 months of actual doing it and then all the calculations afterwards. But no, I didn't have that. I had shit to do. So it was like, no, fuck yourselves. So it took about a year to get 5 orders of magnitude of 500 nonillion fucking goddamn things that displayed exactly the same fucking thing I did for the first one that I just told you about. It's so fucking consistent. There was no way at all to fucking like, I had to constantly redo it. I did it 3 times in that year. I was like, no. It's done in 3 months. I can run it through basic. It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. It would be that consistent, would it? I did it again another time. 3 months. I did it again another time. And I'm like, all right, well, that's calculating. I'm going to do it again. And then it's like, calculating. And I have 3 fucking results of 5 orders of magnitude of 500 nonillion motherfucking times doing this. And then it turned into, it's exactly the fucking same, except this one started with a 7 this time. And that one started with another 9 for a little while longer. And then I got a 2. Yeah, that's a 2. So, like, there's that. So it's so insanely consistent that it's a law to me. It's like, no, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fuck yourself, go fucking fuck yourself, go fuck off. I'm never doing it again. This is what this, and then it was like, because I was angry at that point. And then I looked it up because I was like, I did this for a fucking year. I did this for a fucking year. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. The data is good enough such that, like, if I'm off or whatever people would tell me, fucking something. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to look up what's 5 orders of magnitude, right? And it's like, oh, this is billions. Oh, motherfucking dick fuck. Here's 500 million fucking 5 orders of magnitude 3 times over. And then I learned about the rule of exponents. Fuck exponents. Everything about exponents can go fuck itself. Fuck off. Because it's 500 million to the exponent of effectively, what is it, 5, right? 5 orders of magnitude, or like whatever it is, right? And then it's 3 times. From like 3 months and like 6, and then it's like, oh, fucking shit. It's like, oh, I have a couple terabytes or whatever. I have not that anymore. I have 100 terabytes to give to people, and it's ultra hardcore compressed. It is the most compressed you could probably make a fucking file. It is hyper categorized, specified, filtered, resolved, and detailed in all aspects for all file opening softwares to fucking read. But it's like, behold the binary. Unless you have like what it is that this is, because it runs it for every single fucking pulse. Every pulse is in there. So unless you fucking have the program, go fuck yourself. You've got binary. So it's like, go get the program. This is what it is. These are literally the results. I was streaming this fucking thing, which is the only reason why other people were fucking like aware of it at that point. And then I got a bunch of like, no, you're not really. And then it's like, this is what I'm doing. And then they were like, nah. And anyways, I was like, behold my published results on Squarespace that you can only get through a paywall. And you get a unique hash identifier key specific to your specific 102 terabyte file that I have to some fucking how give to you. So it turned into, what's your fucking actual internet speed? Is what the conversation was consistently. And if it was anything under a gigabyte, not gigabit, gigabyte a second, which is 8 gigabytes bits, sorry, a second, it was, you're buying this and you're gonna fucking pay for it to be shipped to you if you're very far away. Which actually did work for a good damn majority of people. You know, for what it was worth, it did work pretty splendidly well for the majority of people, because it was like a big NVMe flash whatever thing that I was able to like effectively write to several drives. And then it's like, here you go. Any program effectively that wants to go through any of those things, which is essentially the same thing that everybody all uses. But there's like open source, and then there's like, this is a proprietary, blah, 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 stupid, dumb fuck, stupid program that's proprietary, which is like, whatever, don't care. I literally don't. Like, oh, you think I can't rip your binary to shreds? I'm going to observe your calculation binary in my fucking computer just so I know what it is your source code is. Fuck you. I've got it. This is now the file that works for you. Fuck you. Right? All of them work. Like, you can calculate it, right? But it's like, behold, if the community matches a literal $1.5 million to me, just to me, that pays taxes, all that other shit, I will then just release it open source and you don't have to buy it individually. Nature was like, you pay us. Fuck off, nature. Suck my fucking dick and balls. Don't care. You can literally be the most legitimate whatever the fuck, and you're not to me. I have no money. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you, nature, in all aspects. Fuck all of you. All of you publications can die in a fire. Fuck you. They're like, you need these. Please pay us. No. And so I then wrote up an article about my findings and how I went, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, boom, here you go. And here's my YouTube channel and all this other crap. There's no one other than me that was in any way involved. It's just my name on it. I now posit that there's a Lemke law in quantum physics for quantum information transfer. Momenta variety. That is a collapsing field state, because the only way this works is if I could fucking force it to do it. That's right, it's a Lemke law, quantum law. I have a quantum law. Fuck probability bullshit, it's a law. And that is literally what I did. I was like, fuck you, your math, your textbooks, you're wrong, suck it the fuck up, don't give a fuck. You're idiots that could have done this. I can't take whatever that's yours. Okay, look, man, you know what I mean? That's yours. I'm not gonna be it. Are you trying to steal that out? I wasn't gonna do that. See? Die in a fire now. Just die. And that's what I did. I'm not even kidding. Like, I can shout and scream all I want, but I made a law. I literally made a law of quantum fucking physics. Not probability, not your standard, not whatever. It's a law now. You're gonna have to deal with it. I made a fundamental force. Literally, it's a fundamental force of the quantum fucking vacuum information momenta thing that we were in. I proved a field theory, effectively. I was like, my name is forever cemented in your stupid garbage. They were like, please give us this. Please pay us. Nature is like, look, I know, blah, 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 wah, wah, blah, blah, cry, 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 blah, blah. And I was like, same thing with this other fucking, there's a bunch of them. I didn't give a fuck at all after a while. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I literally don't care about you. All of you go die in a fire. Please die now. Like, literally make all of your information insanely available and free. Meanwhile, I'm like, yo, what's up, douche fucks? Look at your dumbasses. What's that, a fucking college? You think you're fucking good? Why didn't you do this, you douche? If only because I did 500 non-million goddamn things. 5 orders of magnitudes. 3 times. Like, get up my level of grind. God. Like, holy fuck. Like, no, come back here. Listen to this. Do you know how insane that is? Like, get on my grind level. Fucking hell. It's an actually always fucking bow. Oh my god, right? You know, for others, but it's like for me, it's like I'm just dead over there. I lived on a bed frame that was surrounded by, I slept near all. There was no anything gonna happen but this for a year. I can move exactly like this through my. There's no chill here. None. I am surrounded by pulses all the time. But eventually, it was done. They never did the 1.5 million, though, for what it's worth, which was kind of sad. But, like, that makes sense. But for what it's worth, it was kind of like an Indiegogo. So, effectively, they did raise a lot of money, but then it went back to everyone that tried to do it. So there's that. That being said, it was also like, behold the paywall. Also, holy fuck you. You didn't talk about this, but why is it that I can't share this or do anything but look at it? Also, it doesn't operate off of a binary I'm aware of. I don't know what you're talking about. Every time I fucking take a picture, my phone dies. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Analog pictures scanned kill all computers. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a worm virus in this. Shut the fuck up. There's no way. No, I don't know what you're talking about. None of that exists. Polaroids were trying to be sent around as if that would be an acceptable thing. I was like, watch this. I showed up to a camera. Anything. They started using this. They paid for it specifically because security and analog cameras would just die if it was connected to any computer of any sort. Like, that's literally what they would use it for. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. That must be them. They did something to it. I got talked to by a bunch of people. I'm like, what about you and all your hacking shit? To be fair, though, I never got talked to by actual authorities, just a whole bunch of douche fucks that were like, I'm in college. And I'm like, yeah, no, but you're not the dean or anything, and I don't give a fuck. My computer was ruined. I don't care. Go fucking suck it up. Why are you trying to fucking copy my shit? I have to get money to live, right? Go fuck yourself. I was that aggressive about it. I'm not kidding. I literally tank computers intentionally. I'm not kidding. I admitted to it in every way, but nobody could fucking prove shit. They had no idea how I was doing it. I don't care. They could try and print this shit, which it never printed. But it would kill printers. I'm gonna photocopy, send dead printer. Their printer's dead. The entire computer network that it's attached to gone. They took a Polaroid trying to. Please just pay him. Why? There's like actual huge, massive cabinets and fucking semi trucks being sent full of just reams of analog fucking film to people because it's like any digital was like, go fuck yourself, die. You could then scroll it through. I'll copy this. And it's like, why? Who is fucking needing a projector? Who the fuck? Maybe I'll copy this. You think I won't? I'll fucking. And I'm like, you're going to extremes just to not pay someone who's poor as fuck, you dick. You're willing to spend millions on semi trucks and shipping containers to fucking send this shit. Are you insane? It's literally what I was getting from that. After a while, I was like, what are you fucking doing? Like, a phone's around, the camera's not even on, there's no app, the screen's, and it's dead. It was pointed around it. There was a whole fucking movement for a long time with people just like project onto the thing. It wipes all the fucking like traffic cameras and systems. And I was like, I'm still not gonna fucking say I did that. That was them, obviously. They should pay me. You know what the score is. But it's like, no. You could just. Are you fucking for real now? Like Reams, dude. It takes a lot. There's so many. I mean, it's the same fucking damn trillion pulse consistent. Yeah, no variable. And then and I have to do it. Fucking hell. Well, at least the graph, I can take the graph, like, if you wanted to do that, right? But otherwise, it's like the one picture or whatever for that. But it's like, no, I have to go through all of the data to make sure it's viable. You know that, right? Like, you know what that is. 500 nonillion, 5 orders of magnitude, 3 times. And you have to go through all of the data. Meanwhile, so here's a couple of NVMe flash, big boy fucking suckers for hard drives. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? You're willing to pay for it, you're willing to ship it, you're willing to do all, okay, fine. You know what? Meanwhile, that's a lot of, okay, but yeah, you don't have money like that. No, I don't. And I'm going to make some money on that because I want to eat food and shit. Okay, well, like, whatever, sure. Meanwhile, it needs to be a gigabyte a second. Can we string together a few gigabit a second? Do you have a couple of, like, 7 friends? Do you have 7 friends? Meanwhile, like, where the fuck did you? No, I copied it to a fucking thing and then I go to some place that allows me to have a gigabyte a second. Which, if you don't know, just FYI, because I don't have internet like that, right? And I know you don't really either. Because it also turned into that. It was like, can I meet you somewhere? And I'm like, yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm around here and I can meet you in this general area. And it's like, okay, you need at least this kind of cable. And you need at least this kind of fucking fiber optic to fiber optic with this kind of modem. Do you at least have that modem? Do you have at least this level of actual space that can transfer it at least at this? Because if I'm going to meet you, I don't want to be there for that long. 100 gigabyte a second speed transfer. It's like, I have a setup that will do it. Do you? Because then it's only a few seconds, right? Like, we're talking 102 terabytes, which actually is not really truthfully 102 terabytes because it's hyper compressed. What it breaks out to, shockingly, is a fucking ridiculously large file. I was like, yeah, it's great that you have it, but you can't read it until after you've uncompressed it. Which, like, you have a key or whatever that I'll give you, right? For each instance, obviously, right? You're not gonna like this. It's a duodecillion. What? Yeah, no, like, gigabyte, billion, whatever, right? It is 1 8,297 docillion, which whatever that ends up working out to. You know, that level, like gigabyte. So bytes. It's compressed to 102 terabytes. And I'm like, don't worry, the program and all of it to uncompress it is all on the damn thing. It will do it in about 3 months if you had a basic bitch Chromebook. That's right. It turned into, what kind of computer do you have? So if you had like an AMD and it's like, no, I don't think what? It's like, no, it's fine. You'll have fucking 120, 1,000, oh my, 1 point, let's go with the 2 or 3, whatever you want to go with, duodecillion bytes. You have said, are you fucking insane? Meanwhile, there's a community of people that are like, I'll extract this portion, I'll extract that portion, I'll extract this portion, I'll extract that portion, I'll extract, and all of the world's fucking cloud and computer storage was taken up by this fucking thing after a while. There was like no chill. That's the reason why I was like, go fuck yourself. I don't care. No, I need to eat. I don't care. Do you know how hard it was to get this? This data is a fuck you. Are you kidding me? I need to go give you money, nature? No. Do you know how insane it is to get this data? Fuck off. I need a fucking no, fuck you. Fuck you and fuck you with your little, I need this certificate crap. I need this, whatever. Fuck you. I achieved insane compression. I managed to send this fucker to anyone. I have a program to uncompress this. The entire, it's raw, literal, all that I could measure perfectly, all of that, like beautifully no loss data. There is no loss here for this compression or for the uncompression. There's no loss anywhere outside of like whatever loss there is in like, you know, capturing the damn data, right? But like, still, fucking 1.2 duodecillion bytes is insanely bullshit levels of fucking data. And I was like, no. Do you know how much I had to constantly fucking observe and compress? And this was my entire day for a year straight. Not to mention to constantly refine and keep up with my fucking huge data pile that I had to fucking manage after a while as I'm trying to learn how to compress and program and more as I'm fucking dealing with this bullshit. And then I'm like, it's still showing orders of magnitude and all this, that I think, no, because they'll fucking fight me. Fuck this. And eventually it was like, I kind of went a little insane for a moment. It's not really real insanity, right? But it's like, it's only a couple of billion? It's only a couple billion, it says here. Are you fucking for real? 500 million? 5 orders of magnitude, 3 times! This is all! You're getting everything. I don't care. I need a gigabyte a second. I don't have that space. Well, we'll put it somewhere. Fucking, we gotta get it. Meanwhile, YouTube, corporations, all of this, like, we need to unpack this fucker as a one big thing. Somewhere, somehow. They were not willing to do it. I don't know why. I was like, there's a program on here that effectively is like a scrubbing, like an Adobe or whatever, when you scrub through like the little tiny window, right, for like a timeline. And that will do that in real time. So you have 102, but it's like, it's really not. It's 1.2 decillion fucking bytes. But it was like, no one's ever gonna fucking ever probably put that into one big, huge thing. So it's like, I need to make it so you can scrub through it. I need to make it so you can do all of that. It's not at a loss. There's no things going on like that, which is nice. But it's like, it is running through my program, which irked the fuck out of the community. And I'm like, just fucking uncompress it. Meanwhile, the vast majority of people are like, no, it's fine. Honestly speaking, the data's good, okay? And yet, the paranoid among them are like, I need all of it. They spent $3 trillion, I think it was, effectively building a massively huge storage array and cloud storage through multiple different ISPs and people's computers and all this other shit. There's marketing, there's a lot of stuff that went into that over the course of like 3-5 years or some shit. Meanwhile, the community banded together and was like, we'll just uncompress parts and then we'll basically use that. And then we'll go through and then fucking delete and then and it still stays as a real, main file, but like, and then we'll just do that. They were like all at once. Like almost 1.3 duodecillion bytes is stupidly large, honestly. Yeah. But they could do it. So they did it. And it's like, well, your data matches ours. So shockingly, the program didn't do anything. What do you know? They confirmed the program did not alter the data. To be fair, though, my side turned into angry fucking guy where it's like, just fucking do it yourself. It's on my YouTube channel. Just fucking build the box, make it fucking do it yourself. They're like, well, orders of magnitude it ourselves. Meanwhile, I'm a Lemke law. I'm literally changing all of your stupid bullshit now. I have my own symbol. Go fuck yourself. I literally used the money that I eventually got enough of to go to a bunch of colleges and said, fuck you, and a bunch of other institutions and more that are like, no, we're the ones that write things. And I said, fuck you. I then changed it and I said, go fuck yourself. This is what it is now. I meant that. Like, that's basically almost verbatim what I said. Yeah. It was more of a, you can definitely intercourse that hand or fucking dildo you've got over and over, you clawed douche clowns. Perform the experiment yourself. This is now what's written. You will change this. And then I printed out a bunch of books and shit and gave them to that. And then I literally, to all these people, and then updated and harassed and then sued. By harassed, I meant properly went after individuals and subpoenaed them to change their textbooks and what was taught in schools and colleges. That's right. I literally sued my way into being like an actual no, fuck you. I'm a law now. You will respect this shit. Meanwhile, I'm selling a whole bunch of this stuff that I made that isn't like shirts or anything. It's like, here's a bunch of cable, here's a bunch of like connector, here's a bunch of this, here's a bunch of that, here's a bunch of electric motors, here's a bunch of neutron electric motors, here's a bunch of neutron rocket engines, here's a next bunch of neutron jet engines, here's a bunch of neutron engine, piston stuff. Which, by the way, pistons don't really work stupendously well, but when you kind of run the right electricity for the piston head or whatever, like they kind of bounce off the cylinder sidewalls, all that. But it's like a really stupid way to do it because you just make an electric motor. But I'm gonna move on. Like it's like, okay, whatever. Like the massive neutrons is whatever. I don't care anymore. Yeah, it's like a one-way valve. Like it goes in, but it doesn't go out. Right? And then it like builds up a given type of pressure, and then like you can keep, absorbing more, and then it's like, bye. Huh? There's a vacuum all of a sudden here. Junk. So it'd go right back up to the top, and that's basically what the piston engines were. It's like neutrons will just go right through any material practically. So it was like, this will work, I guess. I made a lot of money doing that. That sustained me basically suing and subpoenaing effectively the entire world. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, I did do that. Yeah. I'm not kidding. I really did do that. But here, run it yourself, and you got essentially the same damn results. Barring like a couple of bare minimum, like few billions of pages later, and then it was like, there's a slight change here. What do you know? Aren't you curious? No, because it's calculated within my physics, which I eventually got a mathematician to work with me, and I learned a lot of that to where it was like, right, this is like quantum tunnel and probablistical outcomes for like how conversion rates, but also absorption of other given types of charge and vacuum, virtual stuff like that. And so it's like, given that is now like good in terms of somewhat able to explain all of it until it got to, well, now we're needing to go into quantum gravity stuff, like, and then that fully explained it, like literally, like quantum gravity, which I then had to argue a whole bunch of stupid, like, you now have our attention, you're something that we care about somehow, and I'm like, I don't even give a fuck about you. Why am I here in this stupid table around for you to observe some presentation thing? I don't even have a PhD. What's the point of this? What are you for? I don't know. Could you do it? No. I then yeeted this up onto my YouTube channel and shit. I was like, bye, don't give a fuck. I was like, here's the math that's really going to be what quantum gravity is, which is the entropytic pump that I described, which is the same kind of thing I just described for electromagnetic fields and so on. But it's a thermodynamic and an ordering clumping of information as it takes information of where things are and it slowly entropytically orders it to make it more likely to move together as one and also move quicker as a result. Because, of course, it's more ordered. It becomes less chaotic when it does that. So it's an entropy pump. Quantum gravity is now a thing like this. The math checks out. I went into membrane stuff and potential land stuff, and I effectively got rid of basically supersymmetry and all of quantum standard model physics and rewrote it and did it my way. And then it worked really, really well for all their observations and more. So I had like quantum telescopes, sensors that worked with neutrons and quarks and light and all this other. I don't care after a while. Like, I literally just started doing all my shit that I have in my YouTube channel. That's all my designs and concepts. And it's like, fuck this. Whatever. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. You guys are stupid, archaic, slow. And honestly, after a point, I got pissed that the only reason why you're not like me is because you don't have funding. A lot of them are smart. And you're fucking tied down to a bunch of garbage. Your peer-reviewed logic checks are terrible. You don't go into noise like they're just regular variables that you should account for. You go into, yeah, no, I guess you're right. That's a bit of a thing you can't do. Or it's like I just got pissed. I was like, no, you're not doing enough work. You're not putting in the effort. Your logic is bad. Like, actually, though, after a while, yeah. I was like, you're not passing my levels of tests, and I have to go to you to pass yours? Why? And it's not against any particular person, it's just the system isn't very good. It's flawed. I hate flaws. I'm all about efficiencies and accuracy and precision and consistency. Like, I love those things. And so their shit is slow, cumbersome, inefficient, inaccurate, inconsistent, not precise enough for me. And then on top of it, it turned into it's eating money, but they have gobs of it that they don't use. And I just got pissed. I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Here, listen to it yourself. I'm doing this. Along for the ride or not, I'm not a part of your fucking structure or system. This is the real stuff I do. That's it. And it worked. That's the thing. Like, it worked beautifully for me. You should still check. Don't just blindly follow me. Don't just have faith or some shit. Check, please. But otherwise, leave me alone. I'm doing my own thing. I don't want to deal or do anything with you. So leave me the fuck out of it. And that's effectively what I said. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm done. I don't care. I don't want it. No. I'm out. Like, I did the thing, and then it was like, I'm out. I'm gonna go fucking use my airship fucking faster than light travel thing to go over to Sirius for a second. Because I don't want to have to deal with you for a while. And then I came back after a couple of months, and I was like, are you guys cooled off now? They didn't apparently appreciate it for some reason. I don't know why. Truthfully, I was like, behold, my quantum tunnel! You know, from very long distances away, which is really just an entangled superposition tunnel effect. But, like, whatever. Eventually, they figured out that you can try and entangle space-time stuff. I moved on because it was like, well, oh, that's an article that came out after I published, or put out, not published, my own YouTube channel video about that for bare minimum wormhole tech. And it was like, thanks, douchebugs, for agreeing, I guess, something that I already knew would work. Agreeing with something, yeah. I was tired after a long time of that. So I effectively just did that, and then I streamed my adventure on over to by myself, by the way, to Sirius, and it's like, hey, this is a thing, and blah blah, whatever. I yeeted some satellites around, did some 3D space printing, put my name on like every planet that's there, gave some flashes of light over there. And it was like, behold, I will make my name on the star if you zoom in and enhance. I love that cliche. I said it so many, it became a meme. It was like, zoom in and enhance. Just get closer to the screen. Just get real close somehow to the screen. And zoom in with the like a jeweler's microscope. And enhance your eyesight by taking the pregnolone or whatever it was for more color accuracy. And then you will be able to see. Meanwhile, NASA's like, okay, meme boy. I'll see what this is. I arrived back down. It's like, no, we didn't even, on the Earth. I'm like fucking in my own little place and shit. I had a decent number of donations, all that stuff. So like that worked out. And it's like, look at the flashes. They should be here in like a couple of years or some shit. I don't fucking know. Meanwhile, I made Xenon reality, and then it flashed my dick, basically in a contrast. And then I did like a bunch of like destructive and constructive interferences to basically turn the star into a big projector, a light thing, as I'm basically filtering it and then making certain light, turn it into a big, flashlight, projector for any kind of thing I wanted to do. I mostly just sent a dick pics, literally, to Earth. But it's like, see, on reality, here's a dick pic. Fuck off. And also, here's me, and I'm doing this, and see, I told you I was here. And also, this is my name. My real, birth, John Tyler Limke, right? Yeah. It's like, go fuck yourself, effectively. I am definitely here. Go suck it. Meanwhile, I'm like, here's a bunch of pictures, and here's about blah 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 blah. Is what it felt like. Because it's like, well, I'm doing this for you. I don't really give a fuck. This was never anything other than like a vacation for me. And then it turned into, behold, 5 years from now, we have a picture of your dick. Your name is on the star for a fucking, okay. When's it gonna stop? That's what the satellites and everything else are doing. It's permanent, basically. Every so often, I'm like, I'll fucking make it a dick pic. You fucking watch me. I'll fucking concentrate it. And you will watch out. This isn't really concentrate. It's focus, the lens, and then the Lagrange point kind of moment, and then like the other like little satellites in between, and then the several ones I put throughout all of our planets and so on. And I was like, here's a free open source, all of the things stuff. That's like constant streaming information to whoever wants it. I'm not kidding. It was like, here's a bunch of LIGO things from the phaser laser thing that makes it so I have a LIGO, and then I can, collapse it so that it's faster, but then I also have the quantum tunnel thing and all the rest of it. And it's like, free, fuck off. Behold, my brand new business plan, folks. That's right. You, too, can get your own airship and go to Pluto if you so choose. I, too, went to that star over there. You could try yourself now. That's right, folks. For the low, low price of basically $5,000. If you want to make it yourself, or about 30K if you don't. This is assembling versus having to make all the fucking material or anything, which is nice. But like 30K is a bit more than like, yeah, no. It turns out the spacesuit for going to another star is a bit different than going to the moon. Anyways, I was like, behold my new spacesuit! I am now going to travel to the moon and back. Using my own designs that are effectively the same electromagnetic and all this other stuff as propulsion. And I was like, yeet! For faster than light. And then I was on the moon. And then it was like, yeet! And I'm back here on Earth. And I effectively had to do nothing to make it work. And it was like 20K for that fucker. That's right, 20K to fly around like Iron Man, essentially. Not even a joke. I was like, behold my impregnable neutron mass. What? Yeah, pretty much. It basically buzzes with a laser light, whatever it is, and then it makes it electrically collapse like the electric motor I'm talking about. And then it turns into a supercritical that then hits the neutron mass that's on the surface of it, and it goes, no, go fuck yourself. Using neutrons, I was like, no, stop, go over there or something. It's effectively laser light. I'm not even gonna lie. It's literally that. Yeah. It's like if it gets close enough, I basically project a degree of neutrons and then use laser light pulses and some electrostatic and electromagnetic between the two that then connect it and then essentially act like a tractor beam. And then it goes, go fuck yourself over there. You know, like Syndrome and Incredibles, where it's like, dun, 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 dun. It's very similar, except you don't like stand still or stuck in time or whatever. So it's like, yeah, you can still run around or whatever, but like you're not coming near me. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Anyways, that's what the neutron thing was about. I was like, well, if it's neutrons I can use it for everything. I'll just use it. They're everywhere. They're literally, I have so much light and neutrons. They're fuck this. I am now telekinetic. And in reality, it's a bunch of laser light and magnetic and shit. You know what I mean? Just really high advanced technology stuff. Watch me just fucking force through you. Then I started getting into like wormhole tunnel vacuum stuff, and it was like, yeah. It was like, what the fuck? Behold my black hole punch. Fuck you, dick. Stop curving space and time, please. This is in my blood. That's right. All my cells basically have various different things that potentiate that with various bespoke atoms and all this other stuff that I made. So now I don't even need a suit. Watch me! Meanwhile, I never gave anyone those secrets. For obvious reasons. I wouldn't want people to try and harm me with that. You know. I decided to go live in the center of the earth for a while. That one was fun. Just because it was like, I'm gonna fucking be that kind of a dick. Like, I mean it. I'm gonna be that kind of a dick. I'm like, I'm able to phase through shit, and it's like, it was the wind! And all of a sudden, Mount Everest just like fucking hovers in the air. It's like, where'd it go? Travels the whole world, does an orbit or two, comes back, and lands in the sea. And it's like, I don't know. No reason why. I didn't do it. Try and get me. I'm in the center of the earth. I have some questions. No, you don't. Unless you can come to the center of the earth. You don't have no questions. That's what that is. It was really pretty fun after a while. It was like, behold, I tripped you. No, who was you? Where? I did that a lot. I was like, you're thinking shitty thoughts about me. Trip. Oh my! Ah, what the fuck? Oh, heaven! Don't know. I'm gonna murder you if you keep that up. Who is that? You know who? Not me though. Definitely not. Well, it's just advanced technology. Ah, just doing a dick move, more or less, because I was kind of fed up after a while of dealing with people. I was like, dick. Oh no! All of a sudden, all these problems for you. Oh no! Well, anyways, that's a natural disaster. That's a problem for you to deal with. None of all those kinds of things. No one's gonna believe you. It's all in your head. You're just paranoid. I would never do that to you. I don't know why that hacker seems to have an issue all the time. I would never do that. Why is this government that seems to hate me just having these problems? I don't know why. Oh no, you had an aneurysm? Oh, you're being paranoid. There's no reason why that would have happened because of your hatred of me. Are you trying to something to be negative and a toxic bitch, Gabagoo, that should die? Standard stuff. Meanwhile, people are like, what am I gonna do? He's already in the most confined he's in the center of the earth. Uh what jail would matter? I'm gonna go fucking fly out to the sun. Here's a big ball of core from the star. It's just there now. Don't worry, I'm doing field stuff and whatnot, so that way you don't burn or get radiated or anything. It's just a really nice light here. I dim it when it's nighttime, don't worry. Meanwhile, it's just hovering over dicks that keep trying to hurt me and fuck with me. Yeah, I imagine you'd laugh your ass off like me, huh? Like, guys, no worries. It's just, what did you say? Fucking holy fuck. No, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about? No, seriously, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about. Could you come out of I hear you in my head. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even talking. That's just your voice in your head, man. It's just a voice in your head. That's not me. Not in any aspect or way is it me. No one's going to believe you. No one's going to fucking ever believe you. You know that, right? Hey, loser. Why are you trying to go after me? You should probably kill yourself. You're a gabagoo. Mm. Everything in the world would be better off without you alive in it. That's true. Factually. You're a bully. You're a menace. All you do is manipulate and fucking lie, cheat, and steal. Everything about you is garbage, you narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopath, dick fuck. Literally everything's better with you gone. But you already know that and you don't care. I just get to say this and no one will ever believe that I'm doing that. By the way, how's the nice little new tiny miniature sun that's just hovering right above your country? I was thinking about moving it over to China for a little bit. they need some new solar panel, like upgrades. And I was like, yeah, no, but what if I just did this? Would you like some more like light during, winter? Yeah, it'll be fine, guys, It's just gonna continue, being nice and light and bright. Like it's summertime, you can grow during the summer outside, right? Right? Yeah. No, I mean that's nice. Right? I thought so. Meanwhile, if I release this, it'll literally destroy your planet. It's a gamma ray burst. It is a micronova. Your entire Earth is under my fucking threat right now. But then it's like, also, yeah, but I don't really want to do anything, truthfully. I just hate you. You don't do it. Oh no! Some dude's been smited by the fucking stars. With a very powerful fucking blaze that plasmed them to dust and nothing. Get lightsabered, bitch. Yum 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 yum. Ah! What the fuck? Jeez. It requires sacrifice of douche fucks and gabagoos. Well, he's gone and dead now. I don't think the world's gonna mourn that douche. Or that dick. Yeah. Hey. Oh no, it has an area of effect. Oh shit. For you. Ah! Behead! My ultra powerful thingy that I have. I constantly make sure a small amount of black holes exist and quickly decay inside of it. Please don't do that. Jesus. I'm going to curve this. That's how it dims. That's true. That's actually how I dim it. I figured, yeah. Like it needs to go somewhere. And it needs to have that light get sent back into it to make it more efficient while I dim it. So that way, like, it gets better thermonuclear fusion stuff with less, need to keep compressing it. Because if I decay it just the right amount, then it makes it so that way it's like, well, now it's basically a microsun. Mm-hmm. So, feeding it, huh? Yes. It requires sacrifice, indeed. The world will be a better place. Run, gabagoos! Or don't, truthfully. I'm not doing anything. Nobody can prove it. I'm certainly not in the center of the earth. What are you gonna do? Fucking leave or something? I don't fucking know. Where are you going, Gabagoo? You're not allowed to fucking buy my shit. I have a very specific list of every single person that will ever be allowed to buy my ships or my technology to go faster in light or any kind of place. I have rules. I am the one who controls your fucking space. I don't do the cop thing. I do the you're dead thing. Have fun over there, douche fuckerinos. Oh shit, my ship's gone for some reason. I don't know why. Oh gee, no way. Oh no. Oh shit! Is that? Oh fuck! Run, little Gabagoo Nation, run! They herded them into a nice place. Matt Everest will be put to great use for a while. Hey, where do you think you're going? Oh no! Well, there's no more Gabagoos, and everybody's in a utopian place. Good place these days. Hmm. I'm gonna go live in the star for a while. I'm gonna take my core with me. Where you going, Superman? If only, man. Yeah, no. This is a lot less than you think that I can do. Let me just reposition the orbit of Earth here. I'm just gonna push down like Chuck Norris. That's not what you're doing, is it? No, not really. I'm not gonna. Like, I did really kind of to kickstart it into its change, but like, it's a whole thing. I'm gonna move on. Really, just to display my power. Truthfully, it's literally to do, like, I forget what it is, like Tom something, and then like, Mary Sue or whatever. But it's like, yeah, no, I did do that though. Like, it literally is just technology, but it's like, yes, but also at the same time, it's just to be like, memes and fucking, oh, I'm so strong, but in reality, I don't even want to really actually do that. Truthfully, like, I'm really only doing it just so people fuck off, effectively. You know what I mean? Because it's like, here's a bunch of ways you'll eventually be able to get there yourself. I'm just ahead of you right now. You'll be able to get there all on your own. I just did this specifically so you don't get hit by the massive dwarf planet coming later. And the black hole that's going to slam into the star, the sun, is gonna come later, so I'm basically just gonna live in the star for a while to effectively kind of learn how to manage black holes really hyper efficiently well. Just specifically so I can kind of like turn it into something else. Um, yeah, it's like, well, here's a dwarf planet or whatever, but it's like, yeah, no, except like, well, it's more of a proto star that's going to become a star, but it's like, yeah, not really, because it's going to slam into the sun, and then there's a bunch of like super planets behind a dwarf planet that's coming too, and then there's the black hole. So I was effectively like, this nukes the fuck out of our star. I gotta figure out a way to get around that if I'm gonna like fucking change that. Yeah. So it's like, well, I need to learn insanely hardcore physics that I can't observe, period, on Earth. There's no observing a black hole on Earth. There's no like anything like that. So I kind of need to exist inside a star for a bit while they do that to learn them. Yeah. Uh, well, like, you'll know if you know, because there'll be a black hole and it'll be the same mass as the star. You just won't have a sun, but at least it'll miss you. Mm. Right? Yeah. It's like, well, at least now you could go over to Sirius or something if that happens. That's true. Yeah. God. Ah. Anyways, and the long and the short of that one turned into, it's really fucking hard to observe these damn bastards. I fucking hate event horizons. They suck. They're not nice. Yeah, they kind of suck a lot. Yeah, yeah, I don't like them. But I figured out how to go inside of them and like observe a lot more. And it was like, all right, well, I have a way to, I guess, change this. Not really alter the fact that it's going to be a black hole. So instead, I'm going to create a big wobble inside of the star, and then effectively have that start accelerating weirdly faster in a different direction. And then I'm going to have like the rest of the solar system kind of move together with me as well while I'm doing this. So that way it just misses us. So we're going to accelerate the orbit of star that we orbit, yeah, of the sun, yeah. Literally. Really? Yeah, because it was like, oh, this is a massive explosive if I were to try and fucking unfuckify like a black hole. Like for real. There's not really a way to do this. Like there's not really realistically a way. Like I have theoretically a way of disassembling it over a long period of time. I mean that, yeah, like I can slowly decay it, but like that's about it right now. And this is gonna hit us fast enough that like it'd be easy to just start doing a little bit of this right now, and then I wouldn't have to worry. And so that's what I did. I was like, yeah, no, this will just dodge us so to get real close galactically, and holy fuck, do we need to fucking prepare for things? And then after that, it's just like, fuck this. I want off the planet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people would probably do that, right? Because it's like, it basically was in or Oort cloud. Yeah. Like, yeah. No, yeah, that kind of thing. And I had to tilt uh, to be able to accelerate us. I had to tilt our orbit. So we're at like this plane, think we just went the 90 degrees. So it's like we're horizontal, now we're vertical. And in order to do that, effectively meant that we were able to accelerate by doing that. But like that was a shit show to a lot of people, just because of the way that happened. And I was like, no, this is happening now. Just fucking deal with it. And warn them or anything. And it was like, oh, oh God. And it's like, yeah, no, you're fine. It's gonna be fine. Like honestly, the orbit's just changing. It's gonna be basically all the same. Uh, it's real basic. Like truthfully, I'm trying to also spin the star here on that axis change too. It's not there yet, but it's gonna be there. It's effectively gonna be the same. Just give it a second. But it'll be there when you get there, right? So just give me a second on that one. Meanwhile, black hole's over there. We dodged it. No issues, although we did have a curvature, which is the reason why I had the orbit change to what it was, which then realigned our orbit. And then now we're back on a horizontal, and our acceleration was reduced to no longer being anything at all that has changed. Literally nothing has changed. Everything's back to normal. But real touch and go, truthfully. Like cosmically speaking, really. Yeah, because it was like, there's no fucking way I can. Are you kidding me? I can go in. I can. There are things I can do with this, but not anytime soon. Like honestly, even with like bespoke atom and like cool fucking anti stuff that I was able to fucking mimic and create. Like it's not like I'm gonna. No, like you're fucked. Like I'm just gonna do this. This is way faster and easier. And then I was like, all right, but where the fuck did this come from? Honestly, you know, it's not like it came out of nowhere. Truthfully, they are already aware about it. It's just like, shit, where does this come from? And tracing this back with, well, I basically turned my body and my eyes into using this isn't really like a real quantum phenomenon. It's a field like collapse effectively. Like I create like the entropy thing that I talk about as a field collapse that orders it. And that means I can actually see gravity. and sense it with my body. And then same thing with neutron capture, sensing, stuff like that. So like I see lots of radiation, all that stuff, cool, whatever, right? But I don't think like people would really grasp what that would mean, because I have faster than light travel, in quantum momenta information transfer, like as a sense to everything in a really big array, and it might be the size of the universe or whatever, but like, that kind of thing. And I'm like, where the fuck did this go? And where the fuck did this come from? And then I'm like calculating effectively for where the hell I could go with this. You know what I mean? And the possibilities for how it all, like, you know, works backwards to where it would ultimately have come from. So I traced that back to where it's going to be, and then like there or whatever. And it's like, ah, that makes a lot of sense actually. But that's another story for another time, for what it's worth. So that's the end of this video. Please like and subscribe and have a good day. Share and all that. Bye.